Alright, I'm back again, and big news of the day is Roe versus Wade has been overturned. I have not had an opportunity to read the actual decision, so I don't know why or what or anything. This is just going to be a short little blurb. Two things I say a lot about government. The first is never give your side power you don't want the other side to use later on. Because there's an ebb and flow when it comes to politics. Eventually, the other party's going to be in charge, and you don't. They're going to use that power. They're not going to relinquish the power you take or assume. They're going to use it to further their own agenda. That's always one thing I've said for many years, and I will continue to do so. The other thing I have said, and I'm sure I've said it a few times in videos, but why not just throw it out now? And keep in mind, I'm actually fairly indifferent to whole Roe versus Wade because it don't really affect me, depending on the reasons for why it was thrown out. Because Roe versus Wade was more on protection of your basically doctor-patient confidentiality. That was one of the big things about Roe versus Wade, and that we have the right to some amounts of privacy from the government. So I don't know if it was abortion itself they went after, or it was that component. That's one thing I don't know. So I can't form an opinion one way or another. But I do want to say this. Any government that is big and powerful enough that they feel as though they are entitled to grant rights will also feel big and powerful enough to feel as though they have the ability to take them away. Keep that in mind. That is not just one particular issue. If the government believes they have the ability to give you rights, they will also believe they have the ability to take them away, or at the very least regulate them to the point that they've managed to, at the very least, make it inaccessible to the average person, or to a certain demographic, if you will. Rights must be an absolute. In the case of the rights afforded by the United States Constitution, the vast majority should only be applied to U.S. citizens, or at the very least U.S. persons. There is a difference. Because you can't use the United States Constitution to trample the autonomy of other countries. Just because we have a Second Amendment saying government can't prevent legal firearm ownership doesn't mean that can be used anywhere else outside the United States. I know with the internet, it's starting to blur the lines of how far the First Amendment even goes, but even then, you have to remember that's the United States government. It doesn't always apply to other countries. It's more applicable for a United States citizen in another country, but that's a different story. Like I said, with things changing, it's kind of muddied the waters a good bit. But so, to a certain extent, you cannot have rights to be completely universal, but to say that someone who may not be a U.S. citizen, but they are definitely a U.S. person, they've gone through the process, to say that they don't have essentially the same rights as a U.S. citizen? No. Or to say that someone who has been a naturalized citizen doesn't have the same rights as a native-born U.S. citizen? No. So just remember, whether you agree with this decision here today or not is irrelevant. What you need to ask is, do you think the government has the right to grant and regulate rights? That's the bigger question. That's something that you will. And now this video has already gone way longer than I had originally anticipated. Let me know what you think. This will definitely make midterms more interesting. Later.